Welcome to this latest edition of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, Ril Dil Quinn. On this 5th of December 2018, we are now 20 days, amazingly, 20 days away from Christmas and 6 days away from dun, 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 my birthday, 40. Sigh 40. Can you believe I'm going to be 40 years old? 40. I'm just going to enjoy these last days of my 30s. I'm just going to enjoy it, soak it all in. I'm embracing 40. 40 age is a blessing. So I'm grateful for every day and every year that I get. But it's starting to, the anxiety of turning 40 is starting to kick in a little bit, just a little bit. But I'm going to enjoy it though. But I still got, listen, still got what? What's today? Wednesday? 6 days. Still got 6 more days in my 30s. A lot to talk about. We are simulcasting, through via YouTube as well as Facebook. So hello to my Facebook and YouTube audiences. This will be available immediately, I would say, on both platforms within, not immediately, but at least to 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes on both as far as when the podcast ends. And right now, Facebook is a little bit frozen, so we are still available via YouTube. Hopefully, Facebook gets its act together so we can um, get back on here ASAP. But we're going to begin the program with the NBA, and I love the NBA right now, man. I'm telling you right now, every single day there's a story. The NBA is like a great storylines, fake trades, drama. It's just a bunch of stuff going on right now with the NBA, and the West is out of control right now in terms of how many quality teams. Lakers, of course, right in the middle of things as they will play Portland tonight. You have a great doubleheader for ESPN: Sixers, Raptors, Lakers, Trailblazers. So that's a nice little doubleheader for your Hump Day Wednesday. But we're going to begin with this article that came out in Bleacher Report today in regard to one James that by Rick Bucher, who formerly was with, of course, with ESPN, has his own again radio show out in California now, and of course does work for Bleacher Report. Respected writer, been around for a long time. The article, the context of the article was basically about the gist of the article. Excuse me, was basically about how difficult it is to play, or the perception of how difficult it is to play with one LeBron James, and especially in terms of all-star caliber players, not so much for all-star caliber players. And I'm here to say this, right? In all professions, okay, I can never understand how anyone would rather work with someone who was average to mediocre versus someone who was exceptional to genius like. I can't understand that concept. LeBron James is a genius at playing basketball. Period. And I don't I don't throw that word around at all. I don't. Even people who are exceptional and are great, I don't call all geniuses. Geniuses. I just don't. That's just something. To me, genius is just the highest level of that you can get to. So it's something I don't throw around. But LeBron James is a basketball genius. Period. As we try to get back on Facebook Live, I'll try to give it one more go, and then we'll move on. But LeBron James is a basketball genius, no question about it. So I don't understand how anyone wouldn't want to play with LeBron James, someone who is probably, not even gonna say probably, without question, probably the second most unselfish superstar in the NBA history behind, say, Magic Johnson. You're playing with LeBron James. You're playing with a guy who scores 27 points, not by accident, but just because because he's that great. He's not trying to score 20 points a game. He's just that great. He's just that great. So you're not. It's not a situation where you have a guy who you know if you're playing with LeBron James that you're going to get the ball. Think about this from a standpoint for a second. Kyrie Irving, right? Now again, I understand Kyrie Irving left Cleveland because he wanted his own team. It wasn't so much about the style of play with LeBron. Kyrie, it was more about I want my own team. I don't want to be in LeBron's shadow. I want my own team. But Kyrie Irving was a guy, was a guy who in the NBA Finals, would average 27, 28 points a game playing with LeBron James. They called a play, right, in Game 7 of 2016 for Kyrie Irving, right? Hit one of the game-winning shot, three-point shot, three-pointer in Steph Curry's face. One of the most iconic shots in the NBA Finals history. So you're telling me that you can't, thrive playing with LeBron James? How many All-Star appearances did Kevin Love make playing with LeBron James? Right? Dwayne Wade, 2012 NBA Finals, went toe-to-toe with Russell Westbrook. Averaged about 25 points a game in that series. So again, this idea that that you are an All-Star, you can be a Hall of Fame caliber player and can't succeed or thrive playing with LeBron James is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Now again, it takes a certain level of mental toughness to play with LeBron James from a standpoint of the media coverage, the scrutiny, all eyes on him. This guy is bigger than the team. He's bigger. He is a bigger than life athlete. He's an iconic figure. So that takes a special kind of mental toughness. Okay. If you're not strong enough to play with LeBron James, as a Los Angeles Laker fan, I don't want you on my team. I don't want you near my franchise. In order to win championships, you gotta be tough. You gotta be mentally strong. You can't be worrying about getting asked questions about LeBron. You can't be worrying about Hollywood, the Laker legacy, Kobe, Magic, all that, any of that. You gotta be mentally tough. I have no use for you as a fan of the Los Angeles Lakers if you cannot handle the onslaught of playing in a purple and gold uniform. Paul George couldn't handle it. I don't know about Kawhi Leonard. I don't know about Jimmy Butler. Didn't want any part of it. That's fine. You know what? Those guys, Paul George and Jimmy Butler, have how many finals appearances between them? How many championships between them? Now, Kawhi Leonard, who knows? I'm not going to dismiss Kawhi Leonard not coming to the Los Angeles Lakers. It's a possibility. I don't know if it's going to happen. It might not happen. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm not pressed to have Kawhi Leonard on the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm not. But again, I don't understand how anyone in their right mind could think that playing with LeBron James is this burden, that playing with LeBron James is the most difficult thing in the history of the NBA. I just don't get it. You know what's difficult? Playing with horrible players. Playing with mediocre, playing with guys who can't play. When you're surrounded by greatness, it makes your job easier. And that's not only in basketball, that's in any walk of life. Your job, it becomes easier because you don't have to work as hard. And on top of it, you should be able to learn from someone who excels in a particular profession. I can't learn from incompetence or mediocrity. I can't learn. I just can't learn from you. If you're someone who can't learn from greatness or somebody who's a genius in that particular field, then you're either two things. It's either two things. You're either insecure or you're somebody who just doesn't want to get better. So players who don't want to come to the Lakers, they're either insecure or they just don't want to win championships. At that point, I have no use for you as a fan. I don't want you on my team. Okay? Again, this is not coming. I don't own one pair of LeBron James sneakers. Okay? I'm a Kobe Bryant fan in Mamba in my blood. Period. I've criticized LeBron numerous occasions in the past. But I can't sit up here and listen to all of a sudden playing all-stars can't play with LeBron James, or it's just the most difficult thing ever to play with LeBron James. It's a bunch of garbage. It's a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of BS. Now, Kevin Durant made some fair comments from the standpoint of the media scrutiny. Now, toxic, I wouldn't use the word toxic. That's a bit strong. But the pressure of the media, and with playing with LeBron, with the questions, the coverage, I understand that could be overwhelming, right? Because you're asked the same questions. It's like spotlight. Every game is like Game 7 of finals. Every game is analyzed. Every game is over. It's an overreaction to wins or losses. Lakers win, they're second best team in the West. Lakers lose, they're not a playoff team. Like, which is it? Which is it? So I get that standpoint, pressure, right? But again, you want guys on your team who are willing to deal with that kind of pressure, who embrace that kind of pressure, who don't care about that kind of pressure. I don't want Paul George on my team because he clearly didn't want to deal with it. Man, think about this. You come to the Lakers, LeBron has all the pressure. All eyes are going to be on LeBron if the Lakers don't win. And again, there's an idea where okay, he gets all the credit if we win, but if we lose, it's my fault. Give me the example, and I dare anybody, give me the example where the role players or second co-star have played well and the team lost and they've been blamed. Give me that example. Please give me that example. No one was ripping Kyrie Irving in the 2017 NBA Finals when they lost 4-1 and LeBron averaged a triple-double. Everybody was saying, like, damn, Golden State is just one of the greatest teams of all time. Okay. Cleveland's not good enough, but it's not, in the regular normal NBA, Cleveland would have won a championship in 2017. They just so happened to run into 4 future Hall of Famers and one of the greatest teams of all time who only lost 1 playoff game. Okay. So it's like, again, give me the example where LeBron's co-stars, co-all-stars, forget about role players, have been blamed when they have produced. The only times I've seen them be blamed is when they haven't played well. When Kevin Love has been a no-show in playoff series. Okay, or when Kyrie Irving has been injured and he's been called saying that he's injury prone. Kyrie Irving has been lauded for how he's played against Steph Curry and some of the other point guards in the way he's played in the NBA Finals. He's been great in the finals, dominant. When has Kyrie Irving been criticized? When Cleveland was going to final, those 3 straight finals Cleveland went to, with Kyrie Irving and LeBron playing together. So again, as a Laker fan, anybody that doesn't want to play with LeBron, I don't have anything for you. Like I don't care. Like honestly, that's fine. I don't want you anywhere near the Laker franchise. Okay, because we like what did Wood Harris say in Creed 1? We building champions in La La Land. We're not singing, we're not dancing, we building champions. We want championships. We don't hang Western Conference Finals banners. We don't hang Pacific Division Championship banners. We hang NBA championship banners. Okay? So with that being said, the latest rumors that have been out, and I've seen multiple reports about this, is the fact that Anthony Davis could be a Los Angeles Laker by December 15th. Now, listen, I don't get these things, right? I read reports, I do research, I tell the audience, I share it with you. So it's not like as a Laker fan that I'm making this stuff up. I read reports. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying like I've spoken to people that say, "Oh, this is locked. This is a dead solid lock. Go bet juniors college money and the mortgage on it." No, I'm just saying that these are reports that have been going around in multiple circles by quality and respected basketball people. Okay, Anthony Davis is not going to re-sign with the New Orleans Pelicans, right? That's not going to happen. So he's going to either leave outright as a free agent or get traded. The Pelicans will see the writing on the wall and more than likely trade him. The question is, will it be to the Lakers or will it be to the Celtics? Because the Celtics, we know, have a ton of pieces in terms of young talent, draft picks, in terms of where they can make a deal. So it's either going to be one of the two teams. It's either going to be the Lakers or the Celtics. Now, the reason why I would give the Lakers the edge is if you're Anthony Davis has power because he can say to the Celtics, "I'm not going to resign with you. I want to live in Los Angeles. I'm signed with Clutch Sports." He has that type of power to say, "You know what? I just won't resign with you. So you'll be trading Jalen Brown, a couple of draft picks for nothing. Marcus Smart, whoever, Rozier, whatever combination they decide to come up with." Lakers, of course, have pieces. They have Ingram. They have Kuzma. They have KCP as an expiring contract. They have Lonzo Ball as a young and up and coming player for a point guard. So again, December 15th seems to be this magic date that has been connected to this story. I don't know if it's going to happen by then, but I do believe that Anthony Davis will be traded by the trade deadline. That he will not finish the season in a Pelican uniform. I firmly believe that wholeheartedly. So we'll see what happens with that. Again, you have to love the NBA. It's non-stop as far as you know. With the Western Conference being in this current state, every game matters from night to night. It really is no real meaningless games because they're only about, I would say, in the entire NBA. NBA has 30 teams. There are only about 4 or 5 horrible teams, 3 or 4 horrible teams that are just unwatchable. Even the teams that have losing records have quality players on it to where they're watchable. Also, of course, you have the Markelle Fultz situation. Markelle Fultz has been diagnosed with, and please bear with me, thoracic outlet syndrome. Thoracic outlet syndrome. Some stuff that if you didn't research or Google, that you wouldn't even believe that ever existed. So he goes to see 10 specialists. They had a 6 doctor present at all the visits. Again, man, I can't get away from the timeline. Um, Jimmy Butler is traded for on November 12th. November 18th, 19th is Markelle Fultz's last game with the Sixers, where he only played 7 minutes, and all of a sudden his shoulder doesn't work. Like, I don't, without an MRI, without the team looking at him, none of that. He just went directly to his people's Robert Brothers, his agent slash attorney. Um, I don't understand how, if you represent Markelle Fultz, that this is a good look for your client. The fact that he's not on the floor, the fact that the perception of him being a mental midget and this being in his head versus an actual injury that doesn't require surgery. It looks like a convenient excuse on why his jump shot has disappeared, and he's had these, he's basically pump faking free throws. It looks like it just looks like an excuse. Like, you're just not willing to say, look, I need to go to a sports psychiatrist. I need to clear my head. You're just buying time to do whatever. I don't know. You're just making excuses. It's a horrible look if you're Markelle Fultz. And if you want to be traded, who in their right mind would trade for him at this point? I'm trading for a guy. Now again, he's making like $9.7 million. So his salary, his money, he's not making a ton of money. So that's not even the issue. But I don't want this guy if he's not committed to playing basketball. Right now, you look like somebody who's not committed to the game of basketball. Looking at somebody who's looking to make an excuse not to play. I don't need guys on my team who are making excuses. I just want results. I want guys who are gym rats. I want guys who are just who want to be great on my team, who want to play NBA basketball. Markelle Fultz looks like he doesn't want to play in the NBA right now. That's what he looks like. He just looks like he does not want to play. So the Sixers are in a tough spot because he's not. They can't trade him right now. Doesn't have a lot of value. Again, the best thing that could happen for the Sixers is he gets on the court. Even if he were to get on the court and destroy the G League for like 3 weeks, then it's like, okay, he averaged 35 in the G League. He has some value. Right now, his value, you can get him for basically 10 cents on a dollar right now. Easily. You can get him for 10 cents on a dollar. But to me, I'm looking at this from afar, and I think it's psychological. I don't think that I'm not buying the injury. I'm not buying it at all that he's hurt. I'm just because again, it just came out of nowhere. Like when the guy was playing 20 to 25 minutes a game, okay, he's playing 25 minutes a game, averaging about 8 points, about four assists. Not playing great, but not playing terrible. They get Jimmy Butler, and all of a sudden, his shoulder can't work. His shoulder doesn't work. It's too much of a coincidence for me. It really is. Where there's smoke, there's fire, as far as I'm concerned. And again, he does not have good people around him. He has enablers. He has people that are not willing to be honest with him out of fear of losing their jobs. You need people that's going to keep it real keep it 100 with you. Because when his career goes into the toilet, they're going to move on to the next #1 draft pick or to the next highly touted player coming out of college. They're going to forget all about you. That's just how this thing works. And remember this too. The NBA, unlike the NFL, is not a place where players get used and then tossed away for the next player up and coming. NBA, they want you to succeed. So because if you're successful, that helps the franchise, not only in terms of the team winning, but in terms of marketing, jersey sales, just business, right? So you're a #1 draft pick. The Sixers want Markelle Fultz to be great. They wanted him to be that third piece behind Simmons and Embiid and Simmons. If they believe Fultz could be that guy, they would not have traded for Jimmy Butler. It just wouldn't have made sense. See, in the NFL, it's like we'll use you until you play hurt because we're looking for an option that could possibly be cheaper and younger. It's not the case in the NBA. Not the case at all in the NBA. Because all NBA contracts are guaranteed. It's guaranteed money in the NBA. There's no guarantee. All NFL contracts are not guaranteed, so they can get rid of you much easier. And again, the NBA is more dependent on players. The NBA is the definition of a players' league, right? NFL is about the quote-unquote the shield. The NFL doesn't want the players to be bigger than the game. The NBA has no choice because the players are bigger than the game. So the NBA has no choice. So this idea that the Sixers don't want Markelle Fultz to succeed, or that they wouldn't give him the best medical treatment is a bunch of garbage. It's not the case whatsoever. Not the case what's is. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So again, Sixers are in a tough spot with it. Um, he has no trade value right now. Just going to wait out these 3 to 6 weeks, and hopefully he gets on the court as soon as possible, so that at least if he gets on the court and produces, they can move him right away. Like you can just move him because he's without question not in their future plans. Yesterday, of course, you had Urban Meyer calling it quits, resigning from his position, his head coaching position from Ohio State after 7 years, a national championship for his career. Meyer, of course, won 3 national championships, had one of the highest winning percentages of any coach in NCAA Division I history. And listen, to me, I look at Urban Meyer and I don't his in terms of his legacy, it's pretty simple to me. He is one of the great coaches in college football history without question. He's a guy who is respected by a lot of NFL people, including Bill Belichick. He won everywhere he went, but it was a win at all costs. It was sacrificing character for talent. It was um, it was a situation where Urban Meyer, made himself out to be this. Um, I ain't gonna say not gonna say goody two shoe, but made him out to be light as snow, core values, building young men and developing young men. Here's the problem, and this is a life lesson, right? All of us are human beings. We all have flaws. Nobody's perfect, right? So to me, my best advice to anybody, including myself, would be embrace your flaws. Because if you're somebody who walks around like your shit don't stink, you're Mr. or Mrs. Perfect, and I'm not saying Urban Meyer was passing judgment, but if you're somebody who's never made a mistake in your life, okay, the first time you F up, people are going to light your ass on fire. Media, friends, not friends, real people around you, they're gonna light you up as far as as far as talking about you, as far as the perception of who you really are. You're gonna be considered a fake, a phone, a fraud. Yeah, he or she, you're not real. You was just talking a good game, or you're not the goody two shoe, or you're not Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. So that energy that you put out, as far as like, again, your shit don't stink. That's not the way to go, man. And that's how Urban Meyer was, from a standpoint of these core values, and you're building, you're cultivating and motivating and building, empowering young men. And you care about you care about off the field stuff, about your kids, about your students, your players, about what they do off the field in terms of their careers versus winning on the field. There's a bunch of garbage. Urban Meyer had a coach working under him who was a known domestic violence abuser, woman abuser, and he kept him on his staff. And he knew he had bouts of domestic violence. He knew he hit on women. He still kept him on his staff. In terms of Zach Smith, there's no run away from that. That stays permanently on your record. That's a part of your legacy forever. He didn't need Zach. And the thing about it, Urban Meyer didn't need Zach Smith to win championships. He could have got another top coordinator, defensive coordinator, whatever, to work with him. It's Urban Meyer, and who wouldn't want to work with Urban Meyer? Your profile is going to be high. You're going to be playing for championships year in and year out. His connections alone will get you a job a head coaching job somewhere, assistant in the NFL, or a head coaching job in Division I college football. So he didn't need Zach Smith at all. So again, the lesson to be learned here is just embrace your flaws. Okay, no one's perfect. Everybody should be growing and trying and evolving as we move on in life. All right. Again, I'm always cognizant and I always have a like, and I'm not in terms of judgmental, but I'm always careful about people who come off as the shit don't stink. I'm like, cause it's to me that's kind of like a, to me you have more, if you're coming off like that, to me you're trying to compensate for something, and that something that you're not proud of. It's a form of insecurity. It's like a defense mechanism for something that you have within you that you don't want to deal with, right? Instead of just dealing with it. And again, I'm not saying you need to share your life story with somebody. I'm all about privacy. If you got issues within you and you dealing with them by yourself, if you're dealing with them within, then so be it. But acknowledge that the issues exist, right? Urban Meyer lived in a world of denial and self-deception. And again, I will never question Urban Meyer as a football coach in terms of X's and O's. That would just be stupid because his record speaks for itself. His record is what it is for a reason. He won everywhere. He won at Bowling Green. He won at Utah. He won everywhere. Even before he had the resources of Florida and Ohio State. Man had an undefeated season with Alex Smith in Utah in 2005. He won at Bowling Green. So his record is not to be questioned. The guy is an all-time great coach, one of the top five, a half dozen coaches ever in college football history, and could have coached if he physically was capable in terms of his health. Could have coached in the NFL and been successful without question. So this seemed like the perfect time for him to just take a seat, enjoy the rest of his life. 54 is still relatively young. He had some health issues, even going back to Florida. It sounds like some of those issues came up again over the course of this season. I'm not denying that was the case. I don't think he's making it up, but all the stuff off the field with Zach Smith certainly contributed to Urban Meyer just stepping down and saying that Rose Bowl. Hopefully for him, he goes out with a win. It's a perfect time to just to call it a career at Ohio State. Now, again, with these guys, you never know. As far as I don't believe in retirements in terms of people. I don't believe you never say never. Would I be surprised if Urban Meyer comes back and coaches somewhere else? No, I don't think. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Because I don't know where you go from Ohio State. To me, it might be all downhill from there. That was his dream job. He grew up in the state of Ohio. He, worshipped basically Woody Hayes, and he was close with Earl Bruce, who coached at Ohio State. So this was a perfect way for him to go out. Dream job, won a championship, undefeated lifetime against Michigan. 7-0, 4 Big Ten championships. This was the perfect time for him to go out. So we'll see what happens. Ohio State will be fine. Listen, it's Ohio State. They'll be fine moving forward. Now, you're going to see all the pressure shift in the Big Ten towards Jim Harbaugh and Michigan. Michigan next year has to be playing in the playoff. They have to win the Big Ten championship, and they have to be playing in the playoffs. It started today, right? It started yesterday when Urban Meyer made that announcement that even a bigger target was on the University of Michigan. Saw something very interesting yesterday. Of course, December 4th, and shout out to all my December birthdays. The only sign I know in December is Sagittarius. I don't pay attention to any other signs that come before or after Sagittarius. So if I don't know, if Jay-Z, I think Sagittarius is what? So Jay-Z is a Sagittarius. So I think it's November 22nd to December 21st. I believe those are the dates beginning and ending for Sagittarius season. Jay-Z's birthday was yesterday. Certainly one of the greatest rappers of all time, if not the greatest. I have Nas, Jay-Z, Kendrick as my top three of all time. But I'm headed to my second job yesterday, and I have Tidal, one of my best musical investments that you can ever make. Having the $10 a month that you spend on Tidal. Just if you're a fan of music, you have to have Tidal, or I don't know what Apple or Spotify, but Tidal is just the best to me. So they have this Jay Z. They have Jay Z's birthday. So I click on Jay Z, and I'm thinking that what's going to come up is a bunch of old classic Jay Z songs from the entirety of his career. But what ends up coming up is a performance by one Mrs. Sean Carter, better known as Beyonce Knowles. Now, I don't know if this performance was live or it had been pre-recorded. I'm not sure. All I know is it was Beyonce on the stage by herself in what looked like a wedding dress. It was white. The dress was white. It looked like a wedding dress. Singing the song, and I found this out this morning because I didn't know the name of the song prior to when I was first watching it, called "Resentment," which detailed Jay Z's infidelity. And listen, I, I'm at my point. I'm at the point in my life when I do settle down, as far as if I get married and go from there, that I'm very confident that I will never cheat. And again, I'm not trying to say that I'm not. I'm just this. I'm not trying to pass judgment. I'm just saying that at this stage of my life, at this approaching 40, that I'm confident that I will not, that I will won't cheat in a relationship, or let alone a marriage. Um, for your wife to be singing that song on your birthday tells you that she really had got the fact that you cheated on her, and that pain will never go away. And it's something that's clearly been forgiven because she's had three kids by him. Okay, two, Ivy, Blue, and the two sets of twins. The names right now elude me, but that's, man, to sing that song on your husband's birthday. That's ooh, that's some powerful shit. And she it was like, it came off like it was therapeutic for her. I don't think it came off as she was being petty or she was trying to be hateful. I just felt like it's something that she needed to get off her chest. That's what it looked like to me from the outside looking in. Again, I'm not privy to their personal life as far as what's going on from month to month, day to day, year to year. But man, that cheating and infidelity, especially when you're married, that's something that it's almost not so much never forgiven, but it's definitely it's definitely never has not been forgotten by one Beyonce knows Carter. So again, that's something that I just stumbled upon. I didn't even know. Again, I'm going on Tidal to look for a song that probably I wanted to probably listen to Meek's album, or Anderson Park's album, whatever, and I just stumbled upon that, and I'm glad I did because I'm glad I did because it was just I couldn't believe what I was watching. I kind of was taken off guard by it, the fact that she would be singing that song on Jay Z's birthday. Don't cheat, just don't cheat. You could be, if you're single, you can mess with as many women as possible if you choose to live that lifestyle. But once you get one woman, just be with that woman. I mean, thinking about. Listen, and I hear this from people who have settled in their lives, who just say that how difficult it is to be a cheater, like from the emotional standpoint, from the lies that you have to tell, from just how much work it is to cheat. especially on someone who you care about, who truly care about, truly love. And again, I just don't believe anything good comes out of it. And at the when you're in your 30s and 40, moving beyond 20s, doesn't count. High school puppy love that doesn't count as far as cheating. That don't count. You don't know shit when you're 20. High school, you're in puppy love. You don't know nothing about love. You don't know shit. You get 30 and you're still cheating and bouncing around. You're in a relationship and you're still cheating on your girl. You're cheating on your man. That's a problem. That's a serious problem. So, something to be learned from. And again, Beyonce, look, I can you knock Beyonce for doing that, for singing that song, even on the birthday? Considering it, how much cheating did Jay-Z have to do for Beyonce to do that on his birthday? Think about that for a second before you criticize Beyonce. Heisman Trophy comes out. That's a hell of a segue. Go from Beyonce and Jay-Z's personal life to the Heisman Trophy. Yes. But this is what we do. This is the Real Deal Podcast. No apologies. Heisman Trophy, of course, will be on Saturday. To me, I don't know when this became a close race, but apparently this race is going to be closer than I thought it ever was going to be between Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, and Tua Tagovailoa. I'll never be able to pronounce his name. Tagovailoa, the Alabama quarterback. To me, I'll keep it very simple, and I've always had this premise when it came to MVP in the NFL, NBA, NHL, best player on best team. So to me, it doesn't change even with college basketball, college football. The best team was Alabama. The best player on Alabama was the quarterback Tagovailoa. So to me, he's the Heisman Trophy winner. That's how I keep it very simple. And 9.5 times out of 10, that's how it works in the NBA. Now the Warriors have been kind of the exception because Durant's missed some time, Curry missed some time this year, so that certainly curtailed their MVP hopes. But if Curry's were healthy this year, he would be MVP without question. And the NBA sometimes gets a little tricky in terms of the narrative. Sometimes they take the narrative approach. Like when Russell Westbrook won it 2 years ago, the narrative was the whole triple-double, shit. So sometimes that takes the narrative approach. College football, just keep it simple. Best player on best team. He's the Heisman Trophy winner. His numbers you can't compare his numbers to the other two quarterbacks because he barely threw any passes in the fourth quarter. If Alabama was in 4 or 5 more competitive games, he would have had 50 touchdown passes. So I don't even compare his numbers. Quarterback rating. I just look at that guy whose team was by far the best team in college football, and he is by far their best player. So I just keep it very simple, and he should absolutely win the Heisman Trophy. There's no question in my mind. I think he will. I think he'll win a very close race. I think it'll be very close. I think it's him. I think it'll be Tagovailoa, Murray, and then Dwayne Haskins third. That's my prediction in terms of the order. As far as the Washington football team goes, we all know what happened on Monday night, and that was to no surprise. I find it very interesting in regards to this quarterback situation. So you have Jay Gruden come out and basically say that we would have taken a stronger consideration to sign Colin Kaepernick. Let's say if Alex Smith or injury are taking place, say in week 1, but now considering that we're into December, him trying to come in and get acclimated with the offense and blah 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 blah, it's something that we don't take strongly, that we're not considering based on that. When a couple weeks ago, Bruce Allen basically said that it was a no-brainer, that it wasn't even, that there was no consideration that they would even think about signing Colin Kaepernick, which tells you about the state of the Washington football franchise, that they're not on the same page. Clearly, Jay Gruden has a false sense of reality in regards to how much power he actually has. Like Jay Gruden would have a say in terms of who was going to be the quarterback. Like, that's not all Bruce Allen's decision, along with Daniel Snyder. So, again, I understand Colin Kaepernick is training 6 days a week. They say 5 hours a day and wants to play football. But I'll stick to my guns here and say that he has a much bigger purpose that goes beyond the NFL by far. And he's living his truth. He's living that purpose. And Colin Kaepernick is going to go down as one of the most historic figures of the 21st century. Bottom line, for what he's going on. We don't even, you can't even, like, we as a society can't even really comprehend what Colin Kaepernick is going to mean to Black lives, is going to mean to the movement, is going to mean to things of that nature. We can't even grapple with it right now. It's just because it's in real time. This is gonna be much bigger 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. But he go down as a historical figure in society. So his purpose is much bigger than any NFL playing field. Listen, if he gets the job, I'll be the first to get the jersey. I don't care what team it's for, and I'll be rooting for him to play well. And by the way, he would fit perfectly with the Washington football team because he played with Alex Smith. He kind of knows that offense. They have similar skill sets. Running quarterback, he's not as accurate, but still, I mean, the idea that, the idea that Colin Kaepernick couldn't pick up the offense, or that you couldn't, tailor your offense towards what he can do, but sign Josh Johnson, a guy who is 0-5 in his career, Mark Sanchez, a guy who has missed a turnover. I'm beyond that point of any NFL team sign Colin Kaepernick. I moved past that a long time ago as far as being frustrated by him not being signed, because I understand how big his purpose is. But it just shows you the state of the Washington football franchise, that no one's on the same page, and that they continue to. This is why they are who they are. That's going to wrap it up for this latest edition of the Ril Dil Podcast. I will hear from you, see you this weekend with another podcast. As always, this is the Ril Dil Podcast, telling it like it is with no apologies. Thanks for listening.